Hello, everyone. My name is Bipin Jayaraj. I'm the Vice President CIO of Rogers Corporation. Just to give a background about Rogers, Rogers is a global technology leader with over 190 years of experience in specialty engineering materials that enable high performance and high reliabilities. And our market spaces that we play in are EV, HEV, wireless infrastructure, automotive safety, and portable electronics. As a CIO of Rogers, I'm responsible for the information systems, cybersecurity, infrastructure, but I also partner with my business transformation vice president to implement multiple solutions as part of the business transformation umbrella, the latest being S4HANA, MDM being one of them too. So the business problem at Rogers, and if I were to talk about going back a little bit, and I always use the wordings of 190 plus years of Rogers and why that is relevant, it's pretty astonishing. I mean, we were founded in 1832 as a paper mill back in Connecticut, and we have stayed relevant and grown through constant change and what I would call resilience, always looking ahead into the market space where we need to go and where we need to grow. And as you can understand, our growth in the last 5 years have been predominantly in the EV, HEV region. If you look at back from 2015, I went back and looked. Since 2015, we've had an acquisition every year, almost to date, which essentially, we grew by M&As, and our default has been acquiring companies and kind of let them operate independently before we completely integrate them into the core Rogers, if you will. It's good and bad, it's a business strategy. But one of the things that we have identified now that for us to scale, having systems in multiple ERPs and different processes becomes a problem. And we've recently come to believe, and we've seen it in the business processes, that we're not able to serve our customers because we have multiple business divisions too, which serve probably the same customers. So there's a lot of duplicity, redundancy, multiple go-to-market strategies, if you will, that we were trying to kind of button down a bit and be consistent. And when we look back and we thought, oh, I think we need to bring together, consolidate many of the processes / data that we have in different places. And so back to the question about business problem, that essentially is a business problem, which is multiple ERPs. We're trying to collect all the data and consolidate the data from multiple ERPs into a single view for the business, and working towards consolidating multiple ERPs into a single instance or a single ERP, if you will. So coming to the data problem, as I explained earlier, we have the business problem of multiple ERPs, and as you can understand, the multiple ERPs across many years start creating multiple data sets, if you will. And the data problem that we currently have is there is no single source of truth of key data across these multiple businesses. The bigger problem that you have is when your customers or your internal users of data do not trust the data, partly because of the fact that it is in multiple places. There's no data consistency, and the notion of which is the right data, that becomes a big problem. And when you start collecting all this information into some of our big three domains, customer, supplier, and materials, and the fact that we have multiple ERPs and incomplete, inconsistent data, duplicate data across systems, in many cases, yes, it is normal, but to get a meaningful enterprise-wide view and to make decisions, sales and forecasting and so on and so forth, that becomes a problem. And we also need a single set of data, a clean set of data, which is true data, since we're migrating into a single instance of ERP, and we are looking to standardize the data as much as possible before we make the big move into a single instance, if you will. Now, coming to the topic of selecting why Prophecy, I have had experience with Prophecy from my previous organization. We had run multiple RFPs to identify what is the right tool. We did our due diligence, so I had some experience with Prophecy. The use case for Prophecy and the selection of Prophecy in the current Rogers journey is very similar, which is, I have a technology strategy where most of our data-related functions are going to be based on a Microsoft platform. And we looked at multiple competitors, including SAP, which is going to be our ERP. But the biggest thing that came to was it is Microsoft centric, and our play is going to be our data platform is going to be Microsoft. We have invested in Microsoft Purview for governance, so Prophecy just made sense from a fitment perspective, and that was the biggest driver, if you will. Our Rogers data platform, which is our data platform, is built on Azure, and we also needed a multi-domain solution. And multi-domain solution, as much as the marketing calls it, the fact that licensing of Prophecy does not limit us to a single domain was very key for us. That's a big, it's a very small item from a Prophecy perspective or a different clients, but for us it was a big deal because there are a lot of these MDM solutions actually charge you for separate domains, and the cost becomes a big problem. And that was a big thumbs up for us too, to go the Prophecy way. ERP is going to be where all the data resides, but also in our case, our data is going to be in multiple places with respect to our customer data is going to be in Salesforce. Our quality data is going to be in another tool called ETQ and so on. So what I'm trying to do right now, which we have been successful with, is hook up Purview and Prophecy and into multiple other things like Salesforce. And Prophecy is actually live with multiple domains and has been integrated into Salesforce. We are actually connecting that to IBP. We will be connecting it to ETQ and so on and so forth. So we're not waiting for the big bang, get the Prophecy done for the ERP. We're also leveraging it, to create the entire catalog, managing the catalog, governance of the catalog for Purview, Prophecy, and then bringing them all together so that we can get the benefit of it. We're kind of trying to jumpstart the benefits before we even go to the ERP, so which is going to be a good one for us. The thought of the impact of a tool like MDM on the company is multifold. If I were to start with the business problem, which I stated early on, truth and trusting the data, those are hallmarks of any data system that you have. If you can successfully point back to a tool, and not necessarily a tool-dependent answer, but if you can point back to a tool, in this case being Prophecy, and you can actually prove that that is the truth and data and how you had cleaned it up and bring it, that will go a long way. And that, I think, is the biggest impact the organization is going to have, to be able to actually put your finger on that and say that's the right data, and we can make really good decisions based on this data. That, I think, is a big game changer, first of all. And then, of course, there are multiple results coming out of that. But I think that's where you start. How much data do you have? How clean they are? Can you trust the data? Those are some basic stuff. But once you build the foundation based on that, I think you can go and do multiple things the possibilities are endless, of course.